Hello, I'm Sarah Anne Shockley, and this is the Pain Companion, chapter by chapter. Chapter 36, You Are Not Your Pain. Pain is so pervasive, so enmeshed with our daily experience, that we can forget what life was like without it. We may eventually lose a sense of who we were before pain entered the picture. When I began to return from the most intense part of my journey with pain, I realized that I was going to have to find a way to disentangle myself from it. I couldn't find a sensation of body without pain, even in my imagination, and I couldn't envision a future without pain, even though I desperately desired it. I had forgotten who I was without pain, and I wasn't sure who I had become from this experience. I certainly knew I had changed irrevocably, but I wasn't quite sure in which direction all the changes lay. This was a scary time. Pain had become so embedded in my body, my daily routines, and my awareness that this constant companion had become too familiar, like a terrorist and his hostage. The difficulty didn't lie in me wanting to keep pain, like an old pal. Far from it. It lay in the fact that pain had been with me so long that I wasn't sure what would be left of me when it finally departed. Would it take most of me with it? I wasn't even sure there was a me beyond the pain anymore. This stage of coming out of the deepest experiences with pain is really important to recognize because there may be an unconscious push and pull on the inside. Most of the inner you is working to heal, to return to life, but some frightened part of you may be worried about the you that is going to emerge. I found that I had to disengage my self-image and my feelings of self-worth from my experience of pain and my body's current limitations. I had been afraid that my injury, my pain, and my being in need of assistance might be turning me into a weak and needy person. I had to realize that just because my body felt weak didn't mean I was weak as a person. Just because my body was in pain didn't mean I was being a pain. Just because my pain created new needs that I had to learn to communicate didn't mean I had turned into a needy person. After a time, it may be easy to believe in pain as the only real power in life. We might shift all our choice-making onto pain's shoulders. After all, it seems to rule everything. Many of us who have been in pain for a long time have been living in reaction to pain. We have allowed pain to become the organizing principle in life. This seems like the only choice there is, yet a subtle but important shift seems to be necessary during the healing process to move the responsibility, the power, and the decision-making back onto our own shoulders. While pain is certainly the reason we can't do many things at the moment, we need to be careful not to allow ourselves to think that it is the director of our lives. A crucial change happens as we begin to find a way out of living utterly beholden to pain and to put ourselves back at the center of our own lives. As far as I can tell, the whole process of living with and releasing pain has the potential of unfolding something like this. Pain arrives. We resist. We do all the right things, including therapies and medications. Pain doesn't leave, so we try harder to get rid of it, adding alternative therapies, prayer, more willpower, more and different medications, and so on. Pain still doesn't leave, may even get worse. We try harder, repeating this cycle again and again until we pay attention differently. Begin listening to pain with respect instead of frustration. We accept that pain is staying with us for as long as it takes. We learn to work with pain as an ally. We come to a place of honoring pain's presence and its unusual gifts. Pain begins to relax, reduce, dissolve. Ultimately, whether it completely leaves or it stays for some time longer, we accept all of our experience with pain as part of a greater path, and we live with more ease, grace, well-being, and inner peace. Once I recognized that I had some fears about re-entering life, working with these fears was easier. I asked myself, who I wanted to become. What new insights did I have from this journey that I could share with others? What ways could I begin to reconnect with life before I was fully recovered? And I had to face the difficult but important possibility: how would I make sure I created a new path for myself, even if I never fully recovered? Chapter 37, Some Concluding Thoughts. Always remember that being in pain is not an indicator of being less of a person than you used to be, or of having lower worth as a human being in comparison to others. Being in pain is simply the path that you're on. It looks different from some other people's paths, but you're not the only one on this road. There are many, many people at this time who are sharing this road with you, for whatever reason. Pain is real. It isn't an illusion, but it also isn't a force, a being, or a sentient entity to go into battle against and overcome. It is important to remember to believe in yourself more than you believe in pain. When you work with pain through the exercises in this book, you allow yourself to work with deeper, less conscious aspects of the self that experience pain differently than you do on the conscious level. These aspects of self may be reasons to communicate through the pain and reasons to understand the pain experience more deeply. Because living with pain is so demanding and so intense, it becomes part of our identity over time. Therefore, an important component of healing, particularly if you have suffered from pain for an extended period, is to find a new sense of self in which pain is not intrinsically interwoven with your identity. Part of healing is allowing the transformation of self that is asking to happen in your life, rather than trying to find a way to return to what was true for you before the pain. We must find out who we are now, not only in terms of the self without pain, but the self who has lived through the pain. This is the person who may still be experiencing some pain, but is being transformed by it and is entering a richer life beyond it. This is the person who has survived the journey, grown through the trials, and changed in relationship to self, life, and the world. Most of the people I speak with who have had to live with hardship and pain tell me that despite the fact that they would never have consciously chosen that path, they now understand how much they have learned and grown from it in ways they never would have otherwise. They say things like, "It forced me to look where I didn't want to look. It made me slow down and pay attention to myself and to my life. It taught me what was really important to me in my life." Most of us are looking for the one button to push, the one pill to take, or the single change to make in our lives, and it just doesn't seem to be that simple. Living in pain is not an easy thing to do, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution, no single key, no quick fix. Living with pain over time demands that we look at our whole selves, work on creating a new relationship with the pain in our bodies, and find ways to live with it as an ally so we can move beyond it. The person who is emerging from this pain journey has the ability to live more deeply, more wisely, more kind-heartedly, and more compassionately than many others on the planet, because that person has walked in pain, through pain, and with pain, and has come to know the core of themselves through this intense, unforgiving, relentlessly difficult, yet deeply transformative path. You are becoming that person. I hope the insights, suggestions, and meditations in this book have been and will continue to be a boon to you on your journey. Remember to be kind and compassionate to yourself and to allow yourself all the time and space you need to fully heal. I wish you all the best on your journey through and beyond pain.